So I want to send, of course, our condolences to the Tree of Life. It's a congregation in Pittsburgh, and Jeffrey Myers, Rabbi Jeffrey Myers. He's a cantor as well, and he is part of our conservative movement, the Judaism of Judaism. So he's a colleague of mine, and I can't imagine what he's now what he's facing. The way I treat it is I look at it as and I wrote about this, that it's like the burning bush. Judaism and the Jewish people are like the burning bush. You know, it's burning, but it does not diminish. So somehow we keep, we're there because we keep going into that center. We're very centered. So that is the key. And I think the Sabbath, of course, is one of those ideas. And the fact that it happened on the Sabbath, it goes to the heart. And in the sanctuary, it really went to the heart of it. But in order to solve these things, I think the root of it is always the rhetoric. You know, we can put guards, we can do, we can have gun control, we can have all these things. But unless we change our narrative, we change our rhetoric in those sanctuaries, in churches and synagogues and mosques, it's never going to change. And of course, in government, we have to change our narrative that it's not one community that causes all the problems in the world. We share this world, so the success and the failures of this world. So designating or blaming one group at a time because it's easy and making them a scapegoat, that is the root of the problem. So we have to change the narrative and the rhetoric, and understand that this is the core. And I'll just give you an example. The third person that is going on the trip with us, and of course he's the third person in Project Genesis, Dr. Don Russo, he studied in Rome during Second Vatican Council in the 60s, and that's why he's coming with us, and we're going to go to Rome as well. But he can testify to the time before and after the church changed its rhetoric, its narrative, and how impactful that was on the Christian world and on the Jewish world. That really was the core of the change, that the holiday, Christian holidays were no longer a danger to Jews, because the church changed its narrative, took responsibility, and said Jews are no longer blamed for killing Jesus, and that because they did that, we now suffer in the world. They changed the narrative, and they flipped it all around and said, not only that, they are our elder in the faith, and we should work together. And in the last 100 years, if you think about it, before Second Vatican Council, and of course World War II, the Jews and Judaism and Christianity fought for centuries, and that turned it around. Actually, the Muslim world and Judaism were not in such big conflict. It was really in the last century that it all flipped. And why? It's not theological. It's all about the narrative, and it's all about what we teach each other, maybe for political gains, in our sanctuary. So once we change the narrative and turn the rhetoric around, that would change the atmosphere.